Hi all, thank you for taking the time to view my presentation of my behavior support project. My behavior support project was conducted at Kenneth C. Hanrahan Middle School, which is located in the Jennings School District in St. Louis, Missouri. Hanrahan's student population is comprised mainly of Black or African American students, about 98%, and 2% white or Caucasian students. Almost all the students that attend Hanrahan are on free or reduced lunch. A little about the class that I worked with specifically. It is a self-contained special education room, 10 African American students, 5 male and 5 female. To talk a little bit about my view of an appropriate behavior, I believe that appropriate behavior is something that varies greatly between schools, classrooms, and teachers. It is important that expectations are clearly outlined, defined, and modeled for students because they don't always know what is appropriate and what is not. So as teachers, it's up to us to teach them. Behaviorism, which is something that I plan to implement in my classroom, is the idea that behavior is observable and measurable, and that behavior is a result from stimulus-response associations. In the classroom, a punishment reward system is an effective way to reward appropriate behavior and reduce inappropriate behavior. The idea being that rewards will increase the likelihood appropriate behaviors occur, and negative reward will decrease the likelihood inappropriate behaviors will occur. To talk a little bit about Aaron, Aaron is a 10-year-old male. He's in the 5th grade. He functions at a 1st grade writing and math level and at a 2nd grade reading level. Aaron's IEP goals are behavioral and academic. He has Down syndrome. He's got a great family support system. Some of Aaron's strengths include his sense of humor and his compassion for animals. Challenges for Aaron are daily living skills, specifically toileting, and social interactions with peers. The target behavior that I chose to focus on for this project is during reading instruction, Aaron is disruptive, and specifically, Aaron makes loud, inappropriate sounds and gestures. My hypothesis is that Aaron acts inappropriately during reading instruction to get the attention of his peers. So my first step to investigate Aaron's behavior was to complete the antecedent behavior chart, which is the ABC chart. What I found was that Mrs. K, the mentor teacher, would explain the lesson for today, which was the antecedent. Aaron would stand up and make a loud, inappropriate sound, which was the behavior. The students would laugh, and Mrs. K would redirect the class, which is the consequence. Another example I found was Mrs. K would put the students into pairs for a class activity, which was the antecedent. Aaron would make inappropriate gestures directed at his partner, and the behavior was Aaron's partner would laugh and the pair was split apart. So as you can see, Aaron is searching for the attention of his peers. Next, I completed the motivation assessment scale. The motivation assessment scale is a questionnaire designed to identify those situations where an individual is likely to behave in specific ways. The scale ranges from 0 being never to 6 being always. Situations where Aaron's behaviors are likely to occur are following a request to perform difficult tasks. Next was the competing behaviors pathways. Here we looked at the things that were occurring before Aaron's behavior. For example, the setting event I chose to focus on was Aaron's bus ride into school. This was our setting event. The antecedent followed that, which was the direct reading instruction. The problem behavior was making inappropriate sounds or gestures, and the consequence was that Aaron's peers were laughing. So let's talk a little bit about Aaron's replacement behavior. A replacement behavior is a behavior other than the target behavior, which here in this case is inappropriate sounds and gestures, which satisfies the student goals in an appropriate way. Instead of making appropriate sounds to get student attention, I propose Aaron raise his hand to comment or ask a question and to get the attention of his peers in a constructive and appropriate way. The challenge with the replacement behavior is ensuring that Aaron feels confident enough to raise his hand and contribute. To begin, the teacher should ask Aaron specific questions that he knows how to answer. This will provide a scaffold for Aaron, and eventually he will become more engaged in more risk-taking and raise his hand more often. So peer attention is Aaron's greatest motivation. We understand that. According to my data, this is what I found. Mrs. K and I will measure Aaron's disruptive behavior by using a frequency recording form. This will give us information about how many times the unwanted behavior is occurring during reading instruction. The first intervention we will use to increase the positive replacement behavior is rewarding Aaron with student compliments. According to the National Association of Special Education Teachers, positive peer reporting is a clever class-wide intervention strategy that was designed to address the socially rejected child who disrupts the class by seeking negative attention. So the main idea of this strategy is that students will give positive attention to one another, which is a replacement behavior for negative attention. So here's how it works. The first step is to decide on a class reward, whether it be extra recess, a field trip, class party, etc. Then decide how many points the class must earn to receive the reward. Next, choose the students that are the most socially rejected. So this would be Aaron in this case. And be sure to include them as quote-unquote regulars to be praised each day. Mrs. K and I will teach students to praise each other by setting aside time each day to review examples of praise and its importance. One way you can do this is to post posters with examples on the classroom wall. You can also model examples or use social stories. These are great strategies to teach students about praise. After, students will have an understanding of what compliments are and how and when to use them. At the start of each day, Mrs. K will announce the names of 3 to 5 students. For each student, we will ask for volunteers to raise their hands and offer praise statements about that person. If the student provides appropriate kind compliments, the entire class gets a point. Finally, we will tally the number of compliments and post progress for the class to view. What I really like about this strategy is that it replaces the negative attention with positive attention by involving the entire class in the process. A second empirically based intervention that can be used to increase the positive replacement behavior is a behavior contract. A behavior contract is a written contract between a teacher, student, parent, specifying an appropriate behavior and motivating reinforcer that the student may earn when he displays the behavior. Aaron, Mrs. K, and parent will sign a contract that states Aaron will not make inappropriate sounds during reading instruction. If he achieves this goal for a school week, he will choose 2 items from the class treasure box. This is the data that I collected beginning September 9th of the inappropriate behaviors. Again, I used frequency recording. As you can see, we started off on the 9th with 9 incidents being the highest number. Our lowest number on September 18th were 2 incidents. So let me talk a little bit about what worked and what didn't work. I'm going to preface this by saying that due to time constraints, I was unable to fully implement the plan, but I did receive results from my mentor teacher. So some things she liked about the positive peer reporting was it was beneficial for the entire class. Everyone was involved. She also said it was simple to implement, which made it something that she plans to use in the future. Something that didn't work was that the peer reporting occurred only at the classroom level versus school-wide. So that might be something that would be helpful next time. So in conclusion, based upon the data that I received from Mrs. K, the plan was working, and she was getting plenty of positive feedback from Aaron as well as his classmates. I recommend that she continue to use this plan, and I think she will get some great results.